Hello, good people. It's Marie Fleming Grant here, and welcome to my new video series. Very excited, Awake TV. So I've been sitting on this for the last month or two, but I thought now is the time to share some information with you. So this is based on the shit show that we've currently got going on, which is 2020, the year of 2020. So I felt like I really wanted to come on here and share some different perspectives, maybe some tips, help you navigate through this really difficult time, but most of all, really make sense of what the fuck is happening right now and why. So unless you're living under a rock, you would have heard all different things, different perspectives. Maybe some of you are, on your own kind of awakening journey. Some of you will be very far along that path, and some of you maybe just starting to sense that something isn't right with the world that we live in. So this whole video series is designed to help you awaken, become awake, aware, really tuned in, but more importantly as well is to really know how to navigate through, because once you have information, you are armed. Knowledge arms you with all the right things and ways to navigate. So it's so important right now. So I have tons and tons of things to share. So I'm breaking them down into separate episodes so I can stay on track, share whatever I know, and then we can kind of navigate through this together. So welcome to Awake TV. And in case you don't know me, if you're new to me, I'm Marie Fleming Grant, and I am founder of the Awake Revolution, and I'm here on this planet with all my heart and soul to help you drop the baggage, wake up to the real you, and revolutionize how you think, feel, and create, because everything's connected. And in case you don't know, you are more powerful than you have been ever led to believe. This is part of the agenda. It's part of what I'm going to get into through this video series. So I'm here to help you wake up to your real power, because this year is probably triggering you in some way. It certainly is with me, and I'm going to share it as I go. But this year is ripping away what we really know about the world, or what we thought we knew about the world. So it's like we're kind of going through life, and all of a sudden the rug gets pulled out from under us, and we are left in this kind of chaos, right? Chaos, confusion, uncertainty, God knows what else is happening, right? So today's episode, I'm going to just kind of talk to you about this great awakening that's happening, that we are involved with. And yes, there's a lot of shit there, but there is so much power to be had. So I want to take you through what I know to be true, and make some sense of this, right? So just to put into context, because things are changing so fast as well, as you will have noticed, where at the time of recording this, we are just sort of coming towards the end of June 2020. I'm in the UK, in London, and everything's gone crazy. So I'm just confirming this, because you might be watching this kind of couple of months ahead or a year ahead, and we'll be in a different situation. So we've been in lockdown here now for I think 3 months or so, sort of towards the end of March, I believe. We're starting to have some of the restrictions lifted. We are starting to venture out, but you will have seen this, as have I, that we're not going back into the world that we knew. So all this talk at the beginning, if you remember, we were talking about, when this is all over, I can't wait to get back to my job. I can't wait to get back to my families. Can't wait to get back to my friends, my world. And you might have realized now that we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. This is about transitioning and going through this massive change, massive upheaval. But it's okay. So first things first is to say that this is what we're doing. We're doing this massive transition phase. And you might have heard it called the Great Awakening. So it's nothing to fear. And I know it's easy for me to say that, because let's be real, people are losing jobs. People are becoming stressed, anxiety's through the roof. We've got all this fear kind of running through our society. It's ridiculous. It's crazy, the horror stories that we're getting, the division that's happening at the moment, very, very deliberate. I'll get into that in another episode. But we've got all this fear. So it's just important to kind of know that There are two vibrations. So let's start this whole thing off, this whole awakening process. There are two vibrations. We're either in fear or we're in love, and that is it. All the other things are kind of different shades of those two. It sounds very spiritual and woo-woo and kind of fluffy, right? But actually part of what I want to do is to kind of share with you that that's the illusion. We have been taught this illusion that anything that's spiritual or from the heart and soul, or anything that's from emotions or from a softer place, we've been taught and programmed that that is kind of for the hippies over there, or the alternative people over there. And actually the truth of who we are as beings, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. You probably read that 1,000 times, you probably heard that 1,000 times, but it's the truth. So we've got to start understanding that we are not just this body, we're not just this kind of vessel that we're walking about in. We are spiritual, we are bigger than that, we are magnificent, and we are so incredibly powerful. And that includes you watching this, whatever your circumstances right now, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're feeling and thinking, you are tremendously powerful. What's happened is you've forgotten. What's happened is collectively we've forgotten, and we're brought into this division, kind of divide and conquer bullshit, basically. So I just want to start from there. So what's playing out this year, and we've got the astrological stuff and the numerology stuff completely backing this up. We can see it in the material world. We are in chaos, right? So we are in this process right now of suddenly everything that we've known for our lives, we're questioning. Suddenly all this stuff is coming up, right? All of the little niggles that we have are starting to come to the surface. People are fighting more than they did. We're in fear and panic over this virus that is so terrible. You know, the way we're behaving as if it's going to wipe out the majority of the planet, which it's not going to. It's all being heightened. So what we've got is this so-called perceived threat, which is this virus, right? It's come in. We'll put aside for the minute that there's a patent behind this virus. You know, it's a manufactured thing. It has a patent on it, which you don't have for naturally occurring viruses. All right, let's just start there. So we know enough to know that this was created, right? The reason it was created was to massively impact humanity, because it's affecting every country around the world, pretty much, most places. And it's to affect us. And what it is, it's a really, really clever way of just coming in, scaring the living daylights out of human beings so that they are more pliable, more in control, and then you can slip in these other levels of control, basically taking away our human rights and our freedoms. So it's a really, really great cover up. Why that's happening and who's doing it, I'm going to get into in another video, in the next video actually, and start breaking that down for those of you who don't know and who haven't come across this idea of what's behind this, what's the bigger agenda. But for now, what I want to just cover in this video is that there is an agenda, many agendas, and this whole virus show, pantomime, is a great cover, and it's allowing other things to start coming in. However, there is a bigger plan than that. So even though there are a lot of dark energies, a lot of dark entities, a lot of dark beings on the planet who are manipulating and deceiving us, there is also the light, there is also the truth, and there is also something so much more powerful. So this is why we are pretty much, it's like a world war, but it's bigger than that. It's like a spiritual war. It's a war on our consciousness. It's a war on our thoughts, our feelings, our safety, our freedoms, our rights as human beings, being free on this planet without being manipulated and controlled at every corner. So this is a huge thing that's happening. And what's happening in 2020, it's what we're calling it, is the Great Awakening. Because even though we are being controlled and manipulated, people are waking up. People are waking up. So you may have experienced this for yourself in your own kind of within your own understanding, within your own bodies and minds and hearts. You might be coming across information that you didn't know before. You might be connecting with people online, right? I definitely have. I've made a whole new ton of friends just from me posting certain truths. And I've connected with new people. Maybe some of you are watching now. And I've been unfriended by some people who I've known, because they don't resonate with where I'm at, and that's okay. So a lot's happening. People are waking up. So there, as much as you can be caught up in the scariness, the chaos, the confusion down here on the ground. I just want to share with you that there is so much going on behind the scenes. Amazing, powerful stuff, spiritually, galactically, on the ground as well. There's so much more. So I'm going to share more in videos because I just want to kind of say it all now, but I just want to do it in proper pieces. So just know that there is so much more going on. We are in the midst of an amazing awakening. But it's going to be chaotic for a while, right? So we have to be able to navigate through this really turbulent time, so that we can stay really steady, not give in to the fear, not have confusion and lack of clarity come in, keeping us from the truth. Because that's where all this division is coming from. It's keeping us confused, and when we're confused, we can't see the truth. We can't make decisions, and if we're in fear, we're easily controllable, right? So that's just how humans work. So it's just about understanding what's happening. So the other thing I want to reassure you as well, and especially if you have been on this journey for a while and you are aware of the bigger agendas that I'm going to talk about, it's frustrating when you know and you can see that there are so many people out there in the world that don't see it. So I just want to share with you this concept as a reminder, or if you haven't heard it before, and it's this thing, you might have heard it come up, critical mass. And there's also something called the 100th monkey effect. So I love this. When I heard this recently, it was like, oh, thank God, panic over. So the 100th monkey effect came from, don't ask me when, I never know when these things happen. It was this experiment with a bunch of monkeys in a certain island, and these monkeys would eat sweet potatoes. So they'd get the sweet potatoes and they'd eat them in a certain way, and all the monkeys would eat them the same way. And then all of a sudden one day, this one monkey, for some unknown reason, decided to take his sweet potato and wash it. So he went like to the river or whatever was there. He was washing the sweet potato and then he ate it. And then obviously it tasted better because then he just kept doing it. So he always then washed his sweet potato and ate it. And after a while he did it. Obviously the monkeys around him, probably his relatives, they started, or the ones closest to him, they started washing their sweet potatoes. So on this island, all these monkeys were doing it, and it just kind of changed their behavior. The weird thing was, after a certain amount of time, for some unknown reason, this is the phenomena, monkeys in a completely different part of the world, same monkey, I think, same type, they spontaneously started to wash their sweet potatoes in exactly the same way, even though they'd never met each other, they'd never been in the same environment. It just was something in the energetics where enough of the monkeys started doing it, it started to catch on in other parts of the world, right? So this is what's known as the 100th monkey effect. When enough monkeys started doing it in one area, it started to trickle out in other parts of the planet. And this is what's happening now. And you may be able to feel this. I do, and I get reminders every so often when I meet somebody. So this is what's happening. So just for those of you who are feeling the frustration right now, there are more people awake than you realize. There are more people onto this whole agenda stuff than you may understand from your snapshot, maybe on your Facebook or your Instagram or wherever you're tuning in. Many of us are awake, all right? And what's been happening during lockdown, more people are activated, more people are wakening up, more people have cut off from their normal routines, they've gone within, and now they're starting to think, they're starting to wake up as per the divine plan. So just remind yourself of that on the days when you feel frustrated and it's exhausting and it feels like no one understands. many of us do. All right, so my intention is also to create this community of like-minded souls. Feel free to follow along these video series with me. Join this community, be a part of this awakening process, and really, yeah, let's navigate this whole thing, because we are only at the beginning. As rough as 2020's been, and we're 6 months in, it's only the start. So that's nothing to be worried about, nothing to be scared about, but the reality is there is so much more to come, and we need to have ways of navigating. So my intention for this video series is to talk about the stuff, shine a big old light on actually what's happening, bring the truth to the surface, bust through the bullshit programming that we've all been given from the days we were born, open up everything that needs to be opened up. But I also want to share with you proper tips, perspectives, and proper ways you can get through this. All right, because we are going to get through this. Light is much stronger than dark, 1,000 times over. We will get there. It's just what's happening is that it's like when you're trying to build a beautiful property, a beautiful house, you're trying to build it perfect. You have to demolish the old hut, right? That's there. And when you demolish a big old hut or a big old building, it's messy. Shit has to crumble down, and we have to get the wrecking ball in to get rid of all the crap. We have to clear it all up and then build something new. So this is what's happening. It's messy, it's frustrating, it's tough. So we need to be strong. We have to be strong mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and get ourselves really on track so we can do the work we came here to do, right? So there's so much I want to share with you. So that's it for episode 1. So if you like this, please subscribe on my YouTube channel. I'm setting that up now. Also hit like if you can, and share this video with anyone you think will be interested to follow along, because I'm going to talk about everything everything that's happening. All right, so the big global stuff, and also what we can do as humans day to day and actually help ourselves stay fit and strong. Because if you're anything like me, you're not going to go down just because this stuff's happening. All right, so welcome. This is Awake TV, and I will be with you in the next episode, and we'll get into the juicy bits and shine a big old light on everything. All right, so that's it for now. Take care. Lots of love to you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.